Do you have mechanics look over and fix problems with your cars before you sell them?
Yes, we do. So we have basically two outlets that we use. We have Alex, which is our mechanic that we have here on staff. He also buys cars from me. And we have a shop that we use for bigger jobs. So what Alex does here at our shop is if we get something that comes in with small problems, easy examples are like O2 sensors. He can do some brakes here. He'll do anything top of motor. I think coils, any kind of evap leaks that we're easily able to detect, anything that doesn't require a lift, big machine or anything like that, that's quick to do. That's what he does here. But any bigger jobs, we think that require a lift, wheel bearings, any kind of motor, like interior motor work. If we have to get transmissions or anything like that replaced, fuel pumps, he can do some fuel pumps here because they're on top, but some of them you have to go at the bottom. But anything like that, we actually send out to a shop that's near us. And anything that's going to take longer than about an hour, I don't want him working on it here because in that hour and a half, 2 hour time period that it might take him to fix one of our vehicles, even if it's an easy job, it just takes time. He can knock out 3 other small jobs on other cars. So we have to think about efficiency when we're working here because we turn a lot of cars. We don't make a lot of money on individual cars. Our plan is volume. We try to do volume. So that means we have to buy a lot of cars. We have to fix a lot of cars very quickly. We have to get them out very quickly, turn them. And if I have Alex working on these 2 to 5 hour jobs to save us $300 to $500, it actually doesn't make sense for us because the money that we can make pumping out these other cars more quickly and having Alex do these smaller jobs on other cars just to get them out, get them ready. It actually makes more sense for us from a dollar standpoint, efficiency standpoint, to have him focus on that stuff and send out these jobs that are going to take us longer, and we'll spend more money on those jobs. But we would rather just turn and burn all day long. That's what we want to do. So yes, we'll get stuff fixed. Bigger jobs send out to a mechanic that we know, and then the smaller jobs Alex will handle here.
Yeah, over the years, we've kind of worked through what things it makes sense to keep in-house versus not, because the whole point is to sell it as quickly as possible, and you don't have to make as much per car. And it's not about having to make as much per car, but we're okay making less, and that's the type of business that we want to be in.
Yeah, we average. I don't know what our exact number is. Last time I checked, it was like $1,100 a car. But we usually start pricing our cars where we'll make like $1,300 to $1,500, and typically it takes us 2 weeks to sell a car, I think, on average. So after that 2 week period, we'll drop it to like $500 less than that. And usually where we find that we sell a car is on average about $1,000, $1,200, $1,100, somewhere around there.
What percent commission does the auctioneer take?
So auctioneers don't actually get a percentage rate, and I don't know if it's different in different markets. I know there's like cattle auctions. There's I know we used to go to estate auctions, and the auctioneers at those like estate auctions, they would typically be the ones that are actually running the whole auction. They're marketing, bringing all the people. So they're doing a lot more work than these automotive auctioneers are doing, but they would peel off like 20, 25% when they would do that. And that's the estate auctions. But with your auctioneers, I've recently had an interview with an auctioneer to talk about that process because I didn't know all the back end stuff, but he said they get a flat rate every time. Doesn't matter if they sell all the cars, if they sell 2 cars, they're getting cut a check for the auction. It's a flat rate, and that's how all the auctioneers are paid in the automotive space. Now, a lot of these auctioneers, they have a circuit that they'll work. So we go to a Mannheim auction, we go to an Odessa auction, and we go to another bigger auction that's their main office is located out of Florida. They don't like me very much, so I'm not even going to say their name, but they have a bigger auction here too. And there's some smaller auctions we hit, and I see the same auctioneers at all of these auctions. But I see all of these auctioneers go to all these same auctions, and they're all within an hour and a half of each other, and they literally work all this. So if they're an auctioneer, they'll literally hit these 3 different auctions. They'll get paid flat rates at each one of these auctions. But it's kind of cool to see how these auctioneers work, because they really rotate through these auctions a lot. How car dealers go and find these cars, because they have to go to where the work is. We have to go where the car is. They have to go to where the cars are too, to be able to auction them off. But they get paid this flat rate, and it doesn't matter if the buyer fees go up, if these auctioneers are so great that they sell so many more cars than another auctioneer, they're getting cut the same check for that particular auction.
Opinions on older luxury SUVs like Lexus GX 570 or Acura MDX as 80,000 miles plus and over 10 years old?
I'm not scared of a Lexus at all. I'm a little bit scared of MDX. The Acura MDX, they can have transmission issues, and we've even dealt with that too, because we've bought some of these MDX to have on our lot. And I am worried about their transmission. So I would not recommend buying an Acura that's 10 years or older. Lexus, absolutely fine. I put my name on that all day long. Lexus is Toyota, same thing. So, and Acura is your up version of a Honda, but we have seen transmission issues in the Acuras. So I would much prefer you buy that Lexus that's similar to the Acura, because I think you're going to get more reliability out of the Lexus. You're going to have fewer things you got to fix, and you're going to have fewer large fixes. What am I trying to say? You're not gonna have to worry about that transmission in the Lexus, most likely, but the Acura, you might have to worry about that transmission. All right, so we're getting a lot of you that watch, and we've got a drill going off in the background. I'm in my shop right now, but we're getting a lot of you watching these videos on our second channel, and you probably don't realize it, but this is actually a different channel than our main channel. So if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel, like the video. It really helps us out a lot.
Ironwood Workman asked, do you think classic cars and trucks are a better deal than the garbage they're selling now? After all, they are still running 50, 60, 70 years now. Is that why the classic auto market does so well?
I mean, as far as this question seems like you're talking about like a daily driver, and I would say no. Even though there are less moving parts in these older cars, you don't have electronic systems that you have to really worry about so much, that you have to change, it seems, all the time now in these newer cars. Safety is a big thing. So and I feel like now too, the reliability of the cars now, you have cars that can last 300, 400, 500,000 miles. And these older cars, they're not doing it. The 60s, 70s models, they're not lasting that long. I know there's going to be cases where somebody's pumped this old Buick to 1,000,000 miles, but that's the rarity. But what we're seeing now is like these 2002 Toyota Camrys, seeing them all the time with 300, 400,000 miles. So I would almost argue that the reliability of the newer vehicles is way better than the older vehicles. You're going to have more things to fix on a constant basis, but they're not going to implode like the old ones would. You're not going to, these older motors, you're probably not going to get 200, 300, 400,000 miles, but you can run a 2.4 Toyota Camry motor without switching it out for 400,000 miles, and it still drives like it's a brand new one. But you're just going to have more systems in these new cars. You're going to have more sensors, a lot of little things that you're going to have to constantly fix. But safety is the biggest thing. And these older cars, they're not going to have the airbags that the new ones have. They're not going to have a lot of these sensors as far as that keep you safe. They're not going to be built as well for accidents. These cars are rated way better now than what they used to be as far as taking a hit. Even like you're talking about these 50s, 60s cars, some of them didn't have seat belts. So I would not want to put, I know I wouldn't say to a family member of mine, buy one of these older cars, because you're not going to have as many things to fix in them. I would rather be safe. And I do believe that the reliability on the newer vehicles is much better, even though you're going to have more things that you have to fix, but they're not going to just explode on you like the older cars would.
I think it really depends on the person, because if you don't like an older car, then I think you're going to have a harder time dealing with the different types of issues that are going to come with it. My first car was a 1967 Volkswagen
Yeah,
Beetle.
but you weren't working on it. There's
Nope,
some people that
that's
want to
exactly
buy that
right.
because they want to work on it. If you want to work on it, that's fine. Just don't drive it a lot because I don't want you to get in an accident in one of those older cars.
No, I did not suggest I was working on it. Let's be really clear.
Right.
I wasn't doing anything, but I thought it was cool that I could if I wanted to. It wouldn't have been that hard. And so, like, for somebody who would enjoy taking something apart and putting it back together, you could 100% do that with a Volkswagen Beetle from 1967. So, I mean, I thought it was really fun to drive, but I wouldn't be driving it around now. And
I wouldn't let you drive it around now. We're gonna put you in a tank, something safe.
that's sweet.
You
But
driving my little boy around.
yeah, I wouldn't feel good driving him around. And in addition to that, in the winter, it was really cold when the air would come in through the radio, just so you know, because there's nothing in the
did you
front
have
of
the
that
little
car.
thing where you release the door where it just opened the door from the engine compartment to push the heat in?
Yes.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, right next to the emergency brake that didn't work. 2019 and newer Ram 1500 and 2500 diesels are the cheapest I've ever seen. Would you buy now or in 6 months?
My answer is always wait, especially for the more expensive stuff. If you're not looking at anything that's $15,000 and under, then I'm saying wait, because that's not really going to be affected by tax time any meaningful way. And the longer that you wait out these dealers, these individuals that are trying to get crazy prices, and they're seeing that right now because demand's not very good, that they have to start lowering prices if they want to start moving these vehicles. So the longer you wait, the better you're going to get a deal. That's been the answer for the last year and a half. If you've waited from the peak, which was about a year and a half ago, then prices have just continuously gone down. They're not going down as much as you want them to go down, but they have gone down. So from the peak till now, I think prices are down somewhere between like 15 and 20%. But they went up. They went up 40 to 60% over that time period. So no, we're not going to get anywhere close to probably where we were in 2019. But prices are going to just continue to just trend down. And when you just get to the point where you're tired of waiting, then you can go buy one. But the longer you wait, the better the prices will be.